So, okay, so I'd just like to welcome our special guest speaker, Sarah, and our participants for coming along today. This webinar is our third webinar in our Digital Boost series. We are recording this webinar for any future reference, and it'll be uploaded onto our website. And also, if, for anybody that wasn't able to attend the session today, and I will be sending the slides out to everybody. The microphones have been muted, but if you'd like to ask any questions at the end, or if any prompts that Sarah gives you, then if you just unmute your microphone, or you can just pop something in the chat. Okay, before I hand over to our special guest, I'd just like to go through some of the opportunities that Uttlesford has for our businesses. So this is our economic development team. There's myself, Sarah, and Rachel. We're on hand to provide daily advice in regards to business support. We also signpost for financial advice and also any grants that are available. As well as this webinar, we also have one on Friday the 10th, which is how to protect your business against cybercrime. And we also have another one by Sarah on Wednesday the 15th, which is called Digital Tools to Help Promote Your Businesses. We do still have some availability on both of those. So if you're interested, please go onto our website and subscribe. As well as the series of webinars, we also have a Digital Boost for Our Businesses grant. So this is between £250 to a maximum of £2,500. It is match funded, and it's designed for our businesses that are wanting to develop or improve their digital assets. Some of the items that you can apply for are new business websites or an upgrade to an existing website, your online booking systems, e-commerce platform, creation of a mobile app, digital skills training courses, cybersecurity training, and there are many other things. If you go onto our website, there is a list on there and you can see what you can apply for. We also have our business startup grant. So this is £2,500, again, match funded. This is for any business that's 2 years old or younger. We have our High Street Premises Enhancement Fund. So this is £5,000 match funded, and this is to enhance your premises. We also have our Rural England Prosperity Fund and our Low Carbon Workplace Grant. On our website, we do have a free to download startup guide. So this covers everything in your day-to-day running of a business. So please, if you haven't already looked at that, if you go onto our website, you can download that for free. We've also updated our business directory. So this is resident facing, so our residents will be able to find your business on there. It's also a really good way of businesses getting to see each other so they can form collaborations. So if you haven't already subscribed to it, I would advise you to go onto our website and sign up for this. It is very, very helpful. We're opening up nominations for our business awards for 2024. We do have 12 categories for this, and also you can apply for it and you can nominate another business. You also can nominate for more than just one category. So if you feel that's applicable and you'd like to be on there, or you'd like to nominate somebody, then please go onto our website. And finally, we have our Business Ease e-newsletter. So this goes out to everybody that's signed up fortnightly, and it provides advice and support of what the latest offers that we have. So again, if you haven't subscribed to that, I would strongly advise you to do so because it is incredibly useful. So without any further delays, I'd like to hand over the floor to Sarah, our special guest speaker, to share her knowledge. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Andrew. And Andrew is going to be driving the slides for me today, so I'll be asking him to move along with the slides. Welcome to this LinkedIn masterclass, and I'm absolutely delighted to be presenting this for Uttlesford District Council, not in the least that I am an Uttlesford-based business myself. So SarahBee Marketing is based in Great Dunmow. And I have to say as well that residents of Uttlesford are extremely lucky in that the economic development team that is the kind of power and the brains behind the Uttlesford Digital Boost for Business is one of the best in the county. They are very committed to their constituent businesses, and there is lots on offer for businesses in Uttlesford at the moment. So please make use of all the good stuff that the team are delivering for you. So if you could move on, please. This presentation is called Will You Pass the LinkedIn MOT? It's not designed in any way to be death by PowerPoint, but it does obviously include PowerPoints as a way of showing you, illustrating what I'm talking about. But the basis of this presentation is really how you can get more engagement on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the most widely used social media platforms, certainly the most widely used for the business community. Next slide, please. And to accompany this presentation, there is a mock MOT certificate, as you can actually see on the screen here. And usually, if the presentation slot were longer, we would get you to take time out and complete the MOT questions and answer those questions as they apply to you and your own LinkedIn account. But what I'm going to suggest to save time is that you will be sent a copy of this presentation by Andrew, and you can take that away and do that in your own time. It's completely self-explanatory. For every question, you're just answering a yes or no. So next slide, please. And that's the second page of the MOT certificate. And the next one, please. Yeah, just saying, answering yes or no. There you go. And then I'd like to invite you all as well to link in with me. And as you'll see, I've got quite an extensive network that spans the business community, certainly across the county of Essex and beyond. And next slide, please. Today, then, we're going to be focusing on both your personal LinkedIn account as well as having a company LinkedIn account. And also the $64,000 question that I'm frequently asked is whether or not you should invest in upgrading to the premium LinkedIn account. So next slide, please. And the next one. So getting the basics right then, what do you essentially need to start off with? Well, it goes without saying that you need some sort of an engaging headshot. And when I say engaging, something that's different. You don't have to pay a professional photographer to take a head and shoulders image, but you can simply use something that you may already have and put some sort of cool border or colour scheme or something on it. Also, with regards to your introductory kind of text that goes along with your profile, it's a really good idea to have that proofread. So even if you just create that as a document in Word and you run a spell and a grammar check on it before you upload it to your LinkedIn profile. Try and also be cognizant of using keywords in your personal profile, because don't forget that LinkedIn is searchable as well. So if people are searching for certain keywords and you've got those in your profile, then chances are you will return on a search engine result. It's important to make sure that your contact information is up to date, and as you can see that I've updated mine to include phone numbers, emails and so on. And it's also a really great idea to personalize the URL of your LinkedIn page. So every LinkedIn account has its own unique URL. And as you can see on this particular example, where it's got contact information, Sarah's profile, that's the URL. And when you open a LinkedIn account, LinkedIn will automatically generate that URL for you. And it's usually a combination of letters and numbers. But if you personalize that URL, and if you move on to the next slide, please. If you just click on edit your public profile and URL, you'll be able to personalize that URL just to actually say your name. And that's the best idea, because that makes you very discoverable. If people are on LinkedIn searching for Joe Smith and you've personalized your URL to say Joe Smith, then they will be able to find you. So next slide, please. Okay, here we have an example of sort of just really expanding on what I'd said there, how to personalize that profile on your actual account page. So next slide, please. And then another facility that LinkedIn has is to actually link your LinkedIn account with your X or your Twitter account. And that's a great way of helping you avoid doubling up if you use Twitter or X, as it's now known. So if you are an active X user, you can link your X account to your LinkedIn account so that when you make a post on LinkedIn, you can automatically have that post be posted on your LinkedIn account and on your X account. And the way to actually do that is a little too complicated for the purpose of today. But if you would like to know how to do that, then if you hop over to YouTube and you type in, how do I link my X account to my LinkedIn account, you'll find the content there. So if you could move on, please. So remember, we're still on personal accounts here on LinkedIn, and it's a great practice to be cognizant and to view who is actually looking at your LinkedIn account, because the reason you have a LinkedIn account is for people ultimately to find you and connect with you. So it's good practice to keep an eye on who is viewing your own profile. And all of the functionality I'm showing you here is the standard functionality that you have with a free LinkedIn account. So I don't have the premium LinkedIn subscription because I don't need to. I don't need that functionality for my business. And we'll talk more about that later on. But as you can see, it's a great way, thank you, Andrew, that you can see here that I can look and see that, okay, 2 people have been checking me out from the business support agency in Colchester, 1 at the Federation, 2 at the Federation of Small Businesses, and so on. So next one, please. Okay, LinkedIn, we've established, is a social media platform that's all about making connections, isn't it? That's the reason we have LinkedIn. And I would also stress that it's a case of quality over quantity. Please don't fall into the trap of thinking that because you have 5,000 connections on LinkedIn, that is any more beneficial for your business. You could just have simply 500 connections and they be extremely valuable and relevant to your business. So think about the quality of those connections over the quantity. One advantage of the premium LinkedIn account is that you are able to download all of your connections into a spreadsheet. If you wanted to maybe take those connections and upload them to another platform like a MailChimp or a MailerLite. So there is an advantage of having the premium LinkedIn account. It's also quite relevant to use if you're going to be investing in using LinkedIn to promote that and have the LinkedIn logo on your marketing material so that people know that they're going to be able to find you on LinkedIn. Obviously on your website, if you have a website, you would want to have the LinkedIn logo, which links to your account. And also, if you are all about kind of starting off on LinkedIn and trying to build an audience, you may want to think of ways that you can incentivize new connections. So it could be, for example, that you say, okay, everybody that all new followers that I get in December will go into a prize draw or something, or will be able to download some piece of information that you've got. So as I said, it's all about quality over quantity. Thanks, Andrew. Next one. Okay, my own network, you can view how many connections you have by clicking on the tab at the top of the page called My Network, and you will then be able to click through onto those connections, whereas you can see mine are in the region of 2,500, but you're able to then to click into those and view those individually. Next one, please. My world, some of the connections that I've got, and I'm not professing that I've met all of these people in person, I've met some of them, but these are some of the connections that I have on my LinkedIn account. And the next one, interesting one to follow as well for those of you that have seen the film The Wolf of Wall Street, the story of Jordan Belfort. He is a motivational speaker now, and it was a film with I think Leonardo DiCaprio played his role, and he has some really quite good LinkedIn content, actually, some motivational content, so you can always reach out to him as well. So next one, please. Really good, and also quite valid in the part of Digital Boost Week. You're also focusing on cybersecurity, but to be aware and to understand the privacy settings that you have in LinkedIn. And as it says on the screen, to access your LinkedIn privacy settings, there are various steps you do there, 1, 2, 3, and then you're able to mark your account as to one that is viewable by everybody, or viewable by connections or second degree connections or whatever. So it's important to understand in the LinkedIn help section, get your head around and be confident in your own privacy settings. Okay, next one, please. LinkedIn has a fantastic messaging function that you can use to send messages. And I do appreciate that the screenshots I'm showing you are taken from screen grabs. But just to remind you, I'm just grabbing my smartphone here as well, that there is obviously a LinkedIn app, and most of this functionality you have through the LinkedIn app as well, that you can have on your smart device, including messaging. But just so happens that this screenshot was taken from my desktop version of LinkedIn. And the messaging function is great to send direct messages to people, people that you might not have their email address or their phone number, so you can seek them out in your connections and send them a message. So next one, please. Okay, what then, if we've established that we've got a personal LinkedIn account and we're happy with the way it looks and the way it's set up, what then are you going to be posting? So what are some of the things that you can actually post from your personal account? Next one, please. Your post can contain, or should, I should say, contain an image if possible, because we all know that images are more engaging to the reader than just a piece of text or copy. So try and always, when you're making a post on LinkedIn, incorporate some sort of image. And similarly, you can also add a video to your LinkedIn post, and that will make it even more engaging to your audience. You can do things like add a document, you can celebrate certain occasions, and you can, really great function of LinkedIn is to include a poll or like a mini survey in your post. Obviously it would need to be relevant to your business, and incorporate that poll. I'm just trying to think of a recent one that I actually execute. Oh yes, I did a poll recently on, are you using artificial intelligence and chatbots within your business? And that poll had an engagement of nearly 600 people, So that was a huge success in terms of brand awareness. So next one, please. And this was an example of a post that I put up back in the summer. I was invited to comment on the BBC News 24-hour news channel with Sean Lay, and I was commenting on the PR aspects of an interview that Meghan Markle had recently given. And I was delighted to see that when I put that image up as a LinkedIn post, I got nearly 3,000 impressions on that, which again was really fantastic from a personal brand building perspective. So next one, please. Okay, yeah, so here's an example of a poll, of a LinkedIn poll that I had conducted as well. And as I said, you know, it needs to be kind of business relevant. So this one was actually asking, I think I put this out in the summertime, when you're on holiday or vacation, do you use your LinkedIn account? And that was quite interesting to see the results of that. And polls are really, really easy to set up in LinkedIn. So yeah, please, I encourage you to create a poll. Now, if you are short of time to create posts, and I appreciate as owner managers, business owners and so on, we're all busy people, and sometimes we lack the time or the inspiration to create a LinkedIn post from scratch. There is nothing wrong with recycling other people's content as long as it's relevant and as long as you are crediting the source and not trying to pass it off as your own work. So for example, this was a headline that came in the Financial Times earlier this year when interest rates had been raised again by 0.75%. I simply took the URL from that article on the FT website and I pasted that URL in my LinkedIn post, and it was interesting for people because it was relevant, and it literally took me 30 seconds to do. Literally copy the URL from the FT into a LinkedIn post and post it. So it's great. Recycling content is very effective. Next one, please. Yeah, I think you need to click this a couple of times. So this is an example of converting an original piece of content and kind of repurposing it into a post. And I take a daily feed, email feed, to a publication called Business Advice. And it's a really great sort of online magazine for business people. And there was an article in this on this particular occasion about these couple of guys that had set up a business making sustainable clothing, so clothing made from bamboo pulp. And it was a really nice story. I'm all about innovation and appreciate sustainability as well. So I, again, copied the URL and also wrote a few lines of text and put that up as a post. And that got, if you do next slide, please, I think that got just over 100 views of that particular piece of content. So that was, again, very quick and quite effective for me to do. So next one, please. Yes, so moving on now to your company LinkedIn. And it's worth kind of remembering that LinkedIn was originally created for recruitment, for staff recruitment, and it was used essentially very much within the recruitment sector, so headhunters and recruiters and so on, and people would upload their details onto LinkedIn as if it was kind of like a virtual CV showcase. So that was the origin of LinkedIn. It was very much about the person and about their credentials and their qualifications and their employment and seeking employment. So having a company LinkedIn page is therefore a really good tip for those of you that kind of want to promote. You're less likely to promote yourself as a person, but you're more focused on promoting your company. And I have here a very short case study of a company that I work with who are based in Rochford near Southend, and they manufacture these screw bolts. So they're industrial screw bolts. They're absolutely huge, and they are used, for example, for railway sleepers and central reservation barriers. So they're industrial strength screw bolts, and they had never used LinkedIn, and they decided that they really needed to be on LinkedIn, which they did, because they sell to civil engineers essentially, and civil engineers are very active on LinkedIn. So we wanted to quickly build up a presence for the company on LinkedIn, and we started off by creating a company LinkedIn account in the company name, Excalibur Screw Bolts. And then next one, please. And on the company page, we were able to, if you use the pull down reach, it allows you to invite connections. So once you've created your company page, you can then click on invite connections, and that will allow you to pick and choose people that you want to invite to follow your company page. So next slide, please. And what you can also do on your company page is you can create showcase pages. And showcase pages are like, if you imagine your company page as being your website homepage, showcase pages will be your other pages on your website. So like feature pages, if you like. And the really, really great thing about showcase pages is they're really, really SEOable. So they will show up really very well if somebody does a Google search for the keywords. So for example, remembering that the company page is called Excalibur Screw Bolts, and it's talking about screw bolts for all sorts of industries. The showcase page is focusing on rail sleeper bolts. So only those bolts that are used in rail sleepers. So very, very specialised. But if you move on to the next slide, please, what that does mean is that if somebody types rail sleeper bolts into Google, then the Excalibur showcase page for rail sleeper bolts is the first to be listed. So showcase pages are really, really, really SEOable for your business. So have a think about, if you're investing in a company LinkedIn page, that you might also want a showcase page or a number of showcase pages. Okay, next one, please. And on your company LinkedIn, you can also create events. And if, for example, you were holding a web event like this one, or if you were organising a networking event, so it can be an in-person event or it can be an online event, you can very easily set up these events in LinkedIn, and you can customize them with your own logos and images and so on. So next slide, please. And on your company LinkedIn, you are able then to, as I said, invite individual people to follow your company LinkedIn. Next slide, please. And when you create a post on your company LinkedIn account, you are able to boost that post. And what do I mean by boosting posts? So for those of you that use that functionality on Facebook, you will already be familiar with what I mean. But basically, if you want to boost a post, so this post here is an example of an event that I was involved in that was taking place in Malden in Essex on the 10th of October. And the people that we wanted to invite to that event were obviously people from Malden, but we also wanted to include people from Colchester and Braintree and surrounding areas. But essentially, this was an event being held in Malden for people who were based in Malden. So we created the post, and then we clicked on the, as you can see circled at the top, the boost function. So if you go on to the next slide, please. Once you click on that boost function, it allows you then to define the audience that you want to boost that post to. And by boosting that post, that means that that post will appear in the LinkedIn feed for anybody who meets the criteria of that target audience. And what you can do when you choose that target audience is you can decide, okay, well, I'm going to send it to people in a certain geographic area, which is fine. So obviously I chose Malden and the surrounds, but you don't have to base it on where the people are based. You can base it on the size of the company. So for example, you're a company that has clients throughout the UK, but your clients are all, you know, they all employ in excess of 250 staff, then you can say to LinkedIn, okay, well, I want this post to appear to every single company that has got more than 250 staff. And you can kind of slice and dice it that way. So if you move on to the next one, please. Now, boosting a post does have a cost associated to it because it's a form of advertising. And depending on your forecasted audience, so for example, if you're saying, okay, I want to send this to businesses in Malden, you're not going to get as many results as saying, I want to send this to every company in the UK that's got more than 50 staff. So if it's the latter, you're going to pay more because you're going to be reaching more people. But if you've got a relatively small target audience, you can boost a post on LinkedIn for a couple of £100. And that's a really, really fast and efficient way of reaching people who you know are in a certain eligibility criteria. So whether that's size of business or where the business is located, you know that they're in the right place or of the right size. And it's going to cost you a couple of £100 to meet all of them. And you then determine when you want that post to be boosted. So you might say, okay, well, my event is going to be in January, so January the 3rd, so I want to boost that post, I don't know, 2 weeks beforehand so that people can see the details of the event 2 weeks before the actual event takes place. And you also, you'll see circled there, you set the lifetime budget yourself. So you say, okay, well, I only want to spend £150 on boosting this post. And the clock will start ticking then as the post appears. It will kind of count down. And once that £150 is used up, then the post won't appear anymore. So if you move on The great advantage of using that function to boost the post is you're then able to analyze the KPIs of boosting that post. And I appreciate it's very difficult to read, it's very small on the screen here. But this is an example of that post that I boosted, and it actually shows me what the footprint was, what the reach was, how many people actually engaged with that post. I think from memory, because I can't read it, it's too small, I think it reached about 4,000 people ultimately. So it was well worth the money. It was a very cost-effective way of targeted advertising, which is what boosting posts is all about. So next one, please. Company LinkedIn. This again is a screenshot from LinkedIn. And if you Google LinkedIn marketing solutions, there are more packages that you can buy that allow you to advertise from your company LinkedIn account. So I'm not going to go through all of them now, but if you just go on to Google LinkedIn marketing solutions, and you will come up with all these different ways that you can advertise and promote on LinkedIn. So moving on now, please. Yeah, some top tips here. These were great tips for creating updates to your company page. And it's worth sort of reminding you that company page is what it says. It's for information about the company, and personal pages tend to be more focused on information about you, if that's relevant. And company pages, obviously, it goes without saying, should be fully branded with your logo, and again have the proofread anything before you type it up on your company LinkedIn page, because it's essentially, it's almost like having a second website. Okay, next slide please. So the question of LinkedIn subscriptions and should I pay for LinkedIn? These, funnily enough, do keep changing, and it's quite difficult to pin down exactly how much they charge for what service. And you probably, like most of us, have received, if you have a LinkedIn account, you've probably received a number of emails saying we'll give you a month's free subscription to join it into LinkedIn Premium. And I know some people actually take up that month's free membership and they use it to download all their connections, because they might want to upload those connections into a different platform, and then they cancel before the month is out, so they get that functionality free of charge. And I have to say, I honestly, of all the people that I'm connected to, probably less than 10% of them have LinkedIn Premium. So I really would question, if you're thinking of getting LinkedIn Premium, what value it would bring you. But there are various different types of LinkedIn Premium. One is aimed at recruiters on the right hand side, and that kind of harks back to the days of LinkedIn was set up for recruiters. So unless you're a recruiter, immediately discard that one. Sales Navigator Core. Some people do use that, very salesy. Kind of depends what industry you're in. But with all of these, you can just literally click on the Learn More button and it will tell you more about the functionality that you get. And then the LinkedIn Business Premium platform is there, which gives you certain functionality, as is the career functionality. So unless you are kind of actively job seeking, you wouldn't really need that for business, the career functionality. So next one, please. Yeah, this just literally delves into a little bit more detail about the Sales Navigator modules. You can get Sales Navigator Core, Sales Navigator Advanced. Too much information to go into for the sake of this call, but if you are interested, then go on and check out the functionality on the LinkedIn website. Yep, so we can skip that one as well. Coming towards the end now, and I'm going to deliberately leave some time for questions, but I've been using LinkedIn now for best part of 20 years, and these are the top tips that I've come up with, which do tend to work. I must admit I don't stick to them religiously, but if you can have a goal in mind that you are going to post on your LinkedIn account so many times a week, just be aware of that. As I said, you don't need to stick to it religiously, but if you analyze, yes, you know, it's reasonable that I can post on my LinkedIn 5 times a week, you know, once on Monday, once on Tuesday, etc., etc., and have that goal in mind. If you can also look at joining industry groups. Industry groups are great, whatever's relevant for your industry. You know, if you're in the food and drink industry, then there'll be an industry group on LinkedIn that you can join, and there's often kind of like a macro national industry group, and then there's often a more localized industry group. So there could be food and drink manufacturers in Essex might be a thing on LinkedIn, and industry groups are great ways of A, making new connections, but B, keeping up to speed with industry trends and news that's going on in the industry. So join your groups, and similarly, once you join the groups, you can also post content into those groups. So for example, if you sell to a certain industry group, it might be that, I don't know, you sell products into hospitals. There's nothing to stop you joining an industry group for hospitals, procurement people in hospitals, and you can post in that group as well. So you can establish a presence with that target audience through joining their industry group. You might want to, and this was more for those that are kind of starting up in LinkedIn, you might want to set a goal to follow so many new accounts per week. And the general rule of LinkedIn is that when you follow somebody, they generally follow you back. So if, for example, you've been to a networking event and you've come back to the office with a handful of business cards, you really should make an effort to then engage with those people that you've had taken business cards from and send them a LinkedIn invitation to connect with you on LinkedIn. And also, when you send them that invitation, there is a facility for you to add a personal note to that invitation. And that personal note might remind them that, yes, I met you at a networking event in Saffron Walden last Thursday. Can we link in? If you have the time to publish articles on LinkedIn, and by articles I don't mean like huge thesis, but it could be just a top tips or something, you might want to decide to publish something regularly on LinkedIn. And interestingly, I have started this week a new series of articles or features that I'm publishing, and they are called SarahBee Says, and each time they're on a different topic. So the current one on my LinkedIn account is SarahBee Says Top Tips for LinkedIn, and it's just a really simple document with my top tips for using LinkedIn. So I think that the next one is going to be SarahBee Says Top Tips for using Twitter. So there'll be a series of articles that I'm going to release on LinkedIn, and I will do so many a month of those. Then when you make a post on LinkedIn as well, and people comment on that post, so they might comment that, oh, that's, you know, really interesting, or well done if you're, you know, posting something that you've achieved. It's always nice to respond to their comments as well, whether you do that by typing something or whether you simply use an icon with a thumbs up or a whatever. So respond to engagements. And coming back to your personal LinkedIn account as well, there is a function where you can ask people that you're connected to on LinkedIn to give you recommendations and endorsements. And if you don't know how to do that, just go over to YouTube, type in "how do I ask for recommendations" on LinkedIn, and you'll see content there telling you what you have to. You literally press a couple of buttons that says "ask for a recommendation from this person," and you type their name in, and then they get sent a note to say Sarah has asked you for a recommendation on LinkedIn, and they just type it and it automatically puts it up on your LinkedIn. So you can ask people for recommendations and testimonials, but you can also give those recommendations and testimonials to other people as well, because don't forget, that's also giving you visibility on their LinkedIn feed by doing that yourself. And I'm actually just, if we move on to the next slide, Andrew has already covered this in actual fact, but just a reminder of so much is going on with Uttlesford District Council under the Digital Boost programme. And next week on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I am discussing some digital tools to help you promote your business. I'm also going to be showcasing, among other things, ChatGPT and how to use that for your business, as well as how to create digital newsletters and some other advice on social media tools, as well as digital tools for branding and design. So if we move on now, please, to the last slide. A reminder, be delighted if you want to link in with me. I do post regularly, at least once a day, and it's generally kind of information that's good to know if you're a small business. So it will be a mixture of new grants and funding schemes, new events that you might want to attend, ideas for you, top tips and things. So yeah, if you want to link in, that would be great. And we have a few minutes left now for questions. So if you wanted to ask a question, I don't know whether you unmute or put it in the chat, but feel free. I'm happy to answer any questions about LinkedIn.
No, don't think there's any typing or anything.
No, not got anything.
No. I mean, if anybody does have any questions that are later, you know, if they either, you know, want to contact Sarah, you know, directly, I will send these slides out, or if you want to contact the economic development team, we can, you know, I'll pass your details on and put you into contact with Sarah, or if there's anything we can answer, then, you know, we're more than happy to do that. So yeah, okay then. I'd just like to thank you for presenting today, Sarah. It's been brilliant and yeah, really interesting, so thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks everyone.
Thank you. Take care then. Bye.
Bye.